Alright guys, TacticalRab here, and today I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. The Call of Duty drama is well back on the menu now. The COD gods decided to reignite the New York Subliners beef from last season, putting Kismet, Porlex and Hydra all on a team together for a tournament tonight. Crimsix weighed in and says the drama last season was way deeper than many people even realise, and there's no way he would team with that situation, and Porlex even throws a jab in at Hydra, saying he's probably not even going to try. Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you are new as always. It's all kicking off. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. First of all, a quick couple of things on Scump, just because he's going into his final competing season. Crazy scenes actually from Brian Slat here that only 3 pros ever won a tournament in their last full season, competing Krim, Nadejot, Zuma, very exclusive list in COD history. The best, I guess, goes to Nadejot. I was also thinking Swanee actually, but I guess Swanee in Black Ops 3, he did stop competing after the World Championship, but I guess that season he won maybe 1 or 2 events where they weren't like proper international events. It was kind of European season playoffs and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff that the list actually is so short of players that won events in their final competing season. Wonder if Scump can manage to do a similar thing this time around. Crazy news as well coming out from Ralph's Valve here, because apparently there's a UI update and overhaul, as is described, coming to Modern Warfare 2. Can you believe it? The UI is one of the key complaints. Yes, it doesn't really affect competitive that much in the grand scheme of things, but it's just a nightmare to use and get around. Like, I don't know why they can't just use what we used to have back in the day. Why do they need to change things for the sake of change? Even Modern Warfare 2019 was way better than this. So apparently they're going to overhaul the entirety of the UI, which is good, but it also means that probably those development resources, of which they have a lot in fairness, don't tend to ever go to the things that we actually hope that they would go to. And there's all these other concerns at the state of the game right now, the fact that there's so many hard points on these particular maps, and you know, when the season launches in 4 weeks time, is the game going to be good? Like, is it going to be playable for competitive? I don't even know at this point, because there's plenty of things wrong with it that probably aren't going to get fixed in time, but we shall see. Maybe the CDL can put some pressure on the developers, and maybe they just decide not to care. That's how it seems to be. OpTic confirmed yesterday, after lots of speculation, that JP Krez will be joining as an analyst for OpTic Texas for the upcoming season. Interesting storyline for the past several weeks has been JP seemed like a very solid candidate, really like an icon of COD stats, to be honest. And back in the day, the MLG days, doing the COD stats website, COD stats, all this type of stuff, was one of the originators of it. Then when the CDL came around, joined the New York Subliners, and has been with New York for the last 3 years. Before everything kind of went down the last season, they decided to effectively clear house. His contract came to an end, and it seemed like a no-brainer clearly for OpTic to go pick JP up. Do they need anyone else on their coaching staff now, or do you guys think this is kind of enough and they've got everything rounded out? Because Sender wasn't really an analyst, right? I mean, obviously, you know, teams like FaZe and others, they've got analysts in their midst, and you know, they analyze the situation, they look at the stats, they, you know, well, let's say you're playing scrims and you've got the data in terms of, okay, our P3 to P4 rotation, we only win that 35% of the time, and you know, the league average is 45%. You know, what are we doing wrong? Let's say Shotzzy has like a 1.2 on this particular hardpoint, but he has a 0.95 on this hardpoint. Then the question is, okay, you know, why is Shotzzy struggling here, or you know, whatever the case might be. So these analytics certainly help, not just from the CDL, but also in terms of practice, to understand what's going wrong and where they could do things better. But at the same time, Sender last year was also kind of the search and destroy guy, right? Like, you know, he maybe wouldn't do so much analytics, but well, maybe he would. I'm not exactly sure what the roles were split as last season with Rambo and Sender, but I think he was coming up with search and destroy ideas and being kind of more of a coach in a sense, right? He wants to go Sender to New York, as he has done. They've swapped places in a way to be more of a coach, right? And kind of lead the coaching lines with Drill, whereas JP is clearly going to be the analyst for the team, and Rambo is going to be doing the man management stuff and the regular coaching responsibilities. But you know, would you say that they need another search and destroy guy? Because FaZe, they've got an analyst, they've got 2 coaches in of course RJ and Crowder, and then they've got a search and destroy guy in Tupac, right? So I think that would be the ideal way to round out a 3-man coaching staff, is a head coach who, you know, deals with the personalities and stuff, but also does most of the coaching responsibilities, an analyst, and then a search and destroy guy. That might be the way that I'd like to round out a coaching staff if I was building one, but maybe 2 is enough for the OpTic guys, and certainly is better than just 1. And yeah, Scump says, you know, let's get it. So pretty exciting stuff, I think, for the upcoming season. And well, yeah, pretty much New York and OpTic just switch coaches then for the upcoming year. Maybe JP's going to get more involved in the coaching stuff than just the analyst work that, you know, he's been known for over the past several years. Let's dive into this then. Really spicy stuff last night on the flank. $30,000 invitational tourney starting tonight. They effectively go through and do a draft for the rosters. Really good stuff, because the CDL doesn't allow full teams to play together, but you can do 2 and 2. You can do pairs and make that happen between teams. And honestly, like, look, as much as I enjoy watching the pros play, and sometimes with the content creators as well, it's not as good as actually seeing the proper league teams and players play in this. players, and there's some big money here on the line. So last night they go through, they do spin the wheel to take AR duos from certain teams, SMG duos from certain teams. They've got some other special guests in there as well, as we'll see here in a second. But pretty much it's all the CDL pros. They go through and confirm the teams, some very interesting and spicy teams at that. But one of the spiciest most certainly was the New York subliners situation with Kismet and Hydra. So Kismet and Hydra kind of comes in as a duo here from the New York subliners going forwards, and then Paul X, right, from the London side with Zero. That's the AR duo over there, and they get paired up with Kismet and Hydra. Can you believe it? The COD decided to put this together and make it happen. So this obviously, we know last season the drama that went down within that New York camp, it was all kicking off between Crim, Paul X, Dareal, you know, Hydra. Kismet wasn't so involved. Kismet came out of it looking pretty good last season, as in fairness to JP. I think Crim said after the season that only really Kismet and, or maybe he said Paul X, not really sure, and JP deserved to keep their spots. Everyone else was an absolute disaster and should have gone. So look, they obviously kept Hydra, Kismet staying around. They've got Paul X now on the London side, but still the beef there is definitely still real and was not exaggerated at all. So I wanted to share a few minutes of clips here because there was a lot that happened from it first getting discussed and Paul X suggesting he doesn't want to play with Hydra at any consequence. Crimsix comes in and says, yeah, there's no way I'd want to play with him either, given the circumstances of last season. Eventually they, I think, decide to, you know, whatever, we'll run it back. There's a lot of money on the line. We've got to do it, because the other option was that Paul X just gets dropped and they bring in Karma or something, which I guess Paul X thinks, you know what, I might as well just play for the money rather than just getting dropped from this particular team. But even finds time to throw a shot in at Hydra and saying that, yeah, whatever happens tomorrow, Hydra's not really going to try.
Hey, Paul said he's not playing.
Back with TJ?
Wait,
actually?
Wait, is Paul not playing? Is he actually not playing? Is it actually a problem? Like, Paul, I'm confused. Are you actually like, yo, this shit, like, I'm not playing with him? Like, is that how it is? Like, is that what's going on here? Like, what's going on right now? What's going on? Paul, play with me. Nah, see, Trey's losing.
No, we can't do that, Trey.
Hey, Cartier, you mind joining the TS? Paul, you guys mind joining the TS? I gotta hear from you guys live. I gotta hear from you guys now, man. I can't keep up with the chat. You guys,
That he's down to do that, to swap.
He's down to swap. He wants to swap. All right, Porter, you're getting thrown back to the Wolves. Porter, you're getting thrown back
Porter,
to the
traded.
Wolves, bro. Is this actually some serious beef? They can't play together or what? What's going on, man?
I would rather get rounded than play with that team.
Oh, no.
Listen, bro. Listen. If Paul don't want to play, bro, you can't make him play, bro. Like, I'm gonna be real. Like,
you absolutely cannot. Thank you, Trey.
there's a lot of beef there, bro. You can't just whack him on a team and expect him to be calm.
Algeria.
I'll take anyone, bro. If Paul don't want to play, I'm not gonna make Paul play. Like, bro, listen. If everything true, what I've heard from that team last year.
Damon wants in. Damon wants in.
Yeah. No, Paul said he'll play, but listen, I'm gonna be real, bro. You know, like when the situation is really awkward, I'm gonna be that awkward guy in that situation.
No,
Yeah, but Trey, you got great comms. You got great comms.
No, I got great comms, but listen, I can fix many of things, but that might be one thing I can.
Pause spamming in chat that he'll play. Pause spamming in chat. He's tagging you.
All right. So we're gonna keep Paul in there.
We got our teams.
It's gonna be so quiet.
Listen.
Yo, Tom, can I like be in your team streak like when I play this? Like,
bro, no, you guys are gonna have to make it work, bro. Come together, man. Just come together and make it work, man.
If it's really uncomfortable though, like, dude, they can make the change. Like, don't just because I know people are saying.
Grown men, man. You had some beef on a team last year.
Pat,
Regain.
Pat, it's
at the end of the day, listen, this is what it is like. And at the end of the day, your roster is Zero, Paul X, Kismet, and Hydra.
Bad vibes, and maybe we shouldn't have you guys.
That's why I'm saying.
Listen,
I can't lie. I might run up mid.
At the end of the day,
no, you see, we might need to change the teams, bro. We might have to.
Everything is fixed.
Paco's not gonna want to play.
Paco's not gonna try either way, bro.
Yeah, he's not.
Oh
bro.
my god.
Is it that chalk?
What the
we have to re-roll.
I'm
Pat,
sorry,
we have to re-roll.
Bro, that just came out too smooth.
Pat, we have to. We have to re-roll.
What was said on the flank was the tip of the iceberg, bro. That dude.
Bro, listen, everybody just gotta grow up a little bit, bro.
Listen, we're grown men.
There's 30 grand on the line.
Listen, we're grown men. People making a lot of money.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Listen, stop being a pussy, because I'm not coming out on that team, all right?
Yes, sir.
Zinni just texted me, and he says he thinks that maybe it might be chalk for those guys, man. It might be chalk.
Oh no, listen. End of the day, I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it real with you.
Oh,
So you guys remember at the end of last season when there was a complete breakdown that happened live on the flank between Crib, Dareal, Kismet. I mean, Kismet wasn't really there. He looked pretty good out of it. Hydra came in, Paul-X came in. It was an absolute mess, obviously. And at the end of the day, it was pretty clear that, whatever was going on in that cup last season cannot continue. And thankfully, the New York Subliners, I think, to some degree, have this season completely cleared house, built an entirely new team and coaching staff, and they're going to run it back from the ground up effectively and see if, the less drama that they are trying to create within that camp actually helps them succeed at the events. But in fairness, last season, they had a pretty good season in terms of results, despite the fact that the team internally was an absolute disaster. So yeah, Paul and Hydra back in the same team speak together. I can't imagine what it's going to look like internally within that call, right? Like, you loaded, I don't know if they're going to be speaking to each other in there. Are they going to really give their all? Like, are they going to somehow, mend up, or whatever's going to happen? But yeah, the beef has certainly been rekindled. Zero says team beef. He even mentioned that, I'm a pretty good leader. I can fix a lot of things, but I don't think there's any chance I can fix this. Like, from what he hears last season, that the extent of the drama was so, to such an extreme that there's eventually no fixing it, right? So still, Paul-X eventually comes around and Hydra comes around, I think, after those clips concluded and said, yeah, okay, whatever. We'll do it, whatever. Just a one-off occasion rather than splitting up and redoing the bracket, because if you redo it, you have to redo everything. It would be an absolute nightmare. So yeah, and even as Ake said, I thought Ake was right though. It's look, guys, focus up here. We're grown men at this point. Let's just put this beef to one side for a second and actually, there's $25,000 on the line here for the winner. You've got to just put this aside, stop being so soft and actually crack on, which I think eventually they realize, whatever, let's just do it for one day and one day only. These are then all the teams for this event starting tonight. These are three of the teams. The pictures here are pretty funny, but so Attach, Cammy, CleanX, and Standy, that's a team. Accuracy, Simp, Envoy, and Kenny. Some of the pictures are absolutely fantastic. Team Methods as well. Methods, Awakening, Havoc, and Vickle. Then we've got Team Zero, as we just saw, Hydra, the Bulldog, Paul-X, and of course Trey, Lenny, Zero. Interesting to note actually that Joe Deceives here is with aBeZy, because Simp I don't think can make it, so this team is slightly less scary than it would be otherwise. You've got Maniac here for the Florida Mutineers. Good stuff. Now Team Slashers looking pretty good. Slasher, Cell, TJ, and Prolutes. Then we get to some really interesting teams. This one especially, Team Octane. Octane, Drazah, Scump, and Shotzzy. So that was the first one that was drawn out of a hat. Drazah returning to OpTic because he was on OpTic Gaming Los Angeles a few years ago. So yeah, Scump and Shotzzy and Octane, that is one of their favorite teams for sure. Then Asim, Nasty, Scrappy, and Insight. So as you guys can tell, the SMG pairing, the AR pairing for the CDL teams coming together here. And then Team Skies, Afro, Bance, Priestess, Skies. That's a pretty good one as well. And then the final set of teams, actually pretty interesting. Dashy and iLLeY paired up with Vivid and Nero. So the first time in a way that Dashy and iLLeY are playing a tournament like this in recent memory, away from Shotzzy and the like. And yeah, Vivid and Nero, pretty good SMG duo there. So yeah, that's a pretty scary team as well. Then Clay's team, Clay, Temperate, and Mack. Clay and Mack back together again after the partly drama that was going on there in the New York Subliners camp a couple of seasons ago. And then the final team stepping in is none other than Team Crimsix. Crim, Rated, Slacked, and Apathy. So kind of like an out there team, but they've been doing pretty well lately. So pretty fun stuff. Crimsix stepping into the mix here. So he's still going to be playing this tournament regardless. And yeah, definitely tweet your thoughts on favorites for this one. I know that people are going to look at that kind of Octane team. And there's some other sleeper dark horse picks, I think, here to win this one. But yeah, I believe it's going to be a search and destroy and hardpoint tournament. Control is either unplayable or they don't want to play it as of yet. So they're going to be playing both game modes in the tournament tonight. And then on top, one team is going to come out and we'll see who's going to win. As Octane says, Seal, Taro, Scump, Shotzzy, Drazah. The vibes are going to be crazy, says Scump here in the replies. And even Drazah says hashtag brick by brick. So kind of funny because Drazah's been stirring up all the drama lately, mainly from the FaZe side. But it's not like Drazah's the best friends with OpTic fans, let's say, at the moment, regardless. And still, hashtag brick by brick thought was pretty funny for him, to be fair. And as Drazah says, or well, as Monarch says, in reply to Drazah, he's back for a limited time. This is the OGLA Drazah when OpTic was under Immortals and before everything happened back in Modern Warfare, when Drazah joined into the team relatively briefly at the end of the season. And yeah, what a duo this is going to be back in action later on today. So intrigued to your thoughts on all this in the comment section below. What do you think happened in that New York Cup last season to make things go to this extent that even months later, the drama is still very fresh in the memory? But look, I think they're going to put their differences aside for now, but I would love to be a fly on the wall in those conversations, right, during these matches later today. And if Hydra gets turned on or something, I can't imagine what Paul-X is going to say inside those comms. So just to quickly mention here from Dashy, actually, 4v4 chow with OpTic any amount, just showing that, Scump is finally here. They're getting ready to go, and, OpTic are getting the grind ready. Maybe we'll see some scrims even over the coming days from these guys as well. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.